Jake thought hanging out with his girlfriend and his best friend would bring him closer to both. Instead, he ended up feeling like the odd one out. My Two Favorite People starts as a funny episode about friendship, but it asks something more real. What happens when your best friend and your girlfriend find each other and forget about you? That question we will have answered when we see Jake's life split down the middle. On one side, there's Finn, his brother, his adventure buddy, his partner in chaos, who he's fighting a shark and a science cat with.
Who are these guys? This is a great fight.
Yeah, you never fought them?
On the other, Lady Rainicorn, his beautiful girlfriend, soft and radiant, with whom he shares quiet moments and gentle music.
I guess that's because I meet Lady Rainicorn every day at 4 o'clock on the dot. Oh shoot, I'm late.
But these two halves, they've never really met, and that's becoming a problem.
I do want to stay and fight those guys, but I also want to hang out with my girlfriend.
Every time Jake wants to spend time with one, he feels like he's leaving the other behind. It's not even just about logistics, it's emotional. He loves them both deeply, and we've all experienced that at some point. Either you've found a new love interest yourself, making it harder to balance time with friends, or your friend does. Now, you don't want to be that person that never hangs out with your friends anymore once you start dating, just like Jake. As more time passes, the more it starts to feel like a quiet tug-of-war, because once he gets to Lady Rainicorn, she's already feeling tired because he was late.
자러 가야겠다.
Sleep? But we were supposed to play viola together.
And that bums him out, so he vents to Shelby.
Whenever I hang out with Lady Rainicorn, I miss out on fun times with Finn. And then when I hang out with Finn, I'm missing out on Lady Rainicorn.
Lucky for him, Shelby has just the solution. Or so he thinks. His suggestion? Just bring them together.
And then I won't miss anything. My problems are solved.
At first, it sounds easy. A picnic, just the three of them. Time to hang out, bond, laugh. Maybe it'll be the perfect fusion of his two worlds. But there's a hitch. Rainicorn speaks Korean. Finn does not.
What? What did she say?
She says she also thinks it's great.
Oh.
Yeah.
And the silence that settles between them at the picnic, it isn't peaceful, it's awkward. Finn tries, he smiles, but they can't connect. And Jake? He watches the two people he loves most in the world sit beside each other like strangers. It's not necessarily a disaster, but it's not what he hoped for either. Finn feels that as well as he's getting about ready to leave.
Man, I might leave. I kind of want to go fight something.
But Finn can't leave. That would mean the two people Jake loves the most just end up going their separate ways again without having had the chance to bond. And then he remembers something.
There's a universal translator device at the bottom of Lake Selizan.
The universal translator, an old device he once threw away. It rests at the bottom of Lake Selizan, protected by cursed lake knights.
The lake? Guarded by evil lake knights?
But retrieving it is a small price to pay for what he wants. Harmony and time where he doesn't have to split himself in two. Finn's concerned. He doesn't think Rainicorn is cut out for a fight like this.
You're inviting Rainicorn? No offense, but isn't she a little too sweet for deadly adventure?
But Jake brushes it off. She's more than capable. She can do anything. The three of them dive into the lake, camouflaged blue by Rainicorn's magic. And for a moment, they move as one. The lake knights arrive, armored, brutal, ready, but so are they. Finn swings, Jake stretches, Rainicorn whips through the water like lightning, and together they win. When they surface, soaked and triumphant, Finn grins ear to ear.
Lady, you are incredible!
Jake beams. His plan is working. He hands Rainicorn the translator, the final piece of the puzzle. But there are only 3 modes here: nerdy alien, nightmare, and old man. Only one of them really works, and unfortunately for Jake, it's the one where Lady Rainicorn sounds like a gravel-voiced grandfather. It's jarring, definitely unromantic. Finn immediately starts calling her grandpa.
Whatever you say, Grandpa.
Jake frowns. Right, that's why he tossed it in the lake in the first place. But still, this is progress. Finn and Rainicorn are connecting, and that's all that really matters. But then, as they take off into the sky, heading back towards the tree fort, something changes. Finn and Lady Rainicorn are bonding, but perhaps a little too much. They're flying close, joking, sharing thoughts that Jake isn't part of. He tries to join in, but the moment has already passed. It's subtle but unmistakable. And then it gets worse. As they soar through the clouds, Jake slips off Rainicorn's tail. He falls, shouting for them, and they don't even hear it. Even worse, they don't even notice he's gone.
Lady! Lady!
He lands deep in the forest alone. By the time he finds them again, they're laughing with a forest wizard. Finn shows off his power rings. Lady's got some too. Jake just towers over them, massive and frustrated. They didn't even notice he was gone.
Wait a minute, you didn't fly down with us?
Lady apologizes, says that the clouds made it hard to hear, but Jake's not worried about the clouds. He's worried about being forgotten. Back at the tree fort, he tries to salvage the situation. He asks Lady to play music with him.
Hey, lady, do you want to go play music together or something?
But she's too busy. He turns to Finn. Maybe a classic adventure will help.
Hey, Finn, after this next game, you want to go adventuring with me?
But Finn's already made plans. With Lady. A party with the Cloud people. No room for an adventure with Jake. They ask if he wants to come.
You should go to that with us.
But it doesn't feel like a real invitation. So he sighs. Harder than he meant to.
No, you go ahead, and you have fun with my girlfriend.
Finn looks at him and just tells him to stop acting weird. But it's not weird. It's lonely. And Jake can't find the words to describe it. He waits. Hours pass. Still no sign of them. So he calls the Cloud Kingdom, only to discover they've already left. Jake heads to Lady's house, and that's when he sees it. Finn and Lady Rainicorn are there, laughing, playing, coloring the worlds together.
Wow, Lady, hanging out with you is the best.
I like you too, Finn.
Without him. And we feel for Jake, as we all have at some point felt his pain in our lives. Who among us hasn't at some point or another been jealous as friends get close and hang out without you? Or perhaps you've introduced a friend you've developed romantic feelings to another friend, and they up establishing a strong relationship, one stronger than yours previously was, leaving you feeling somewhat hurt and betrayed. It's a feeling that can ruin friendships, and it's all the more present for Jake when he looks at Finn and Lady, and they don't look like two people who forgot to invite him, they look like they didn't want to. That's when something inside Jake hardens.
Well, two can play at that game, sweet cheeks.
He pulls out his phone. If they're gonna leave him behind, maybe he should make them feel what he feels. He calls Tiffany, and later the two of them sit in the field outside Lady Rainicorn's house, playing sad viola music together. It's pretty awkward, forced, and very obviously a cry for attention. When Finn and Rainicorn hear the music, they come outside, confused.
Hey, where's that music coming from?
Jake doesn't hide it. He tells them exactly what he's doing after being questioned.
Stop! You're making Lady jealous!
Well, I'm trying to make you both jealous.
Finn's puzzled. Why would he be jealous because of another girl? Then Tiffany chimes in, and Finn finds out that he's not a girl.
Ha 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 ha! Jake's my best friend now, forever.
He's trying to steal his best friend. So Finn jumps on him. They wrestle, fueled by confusion and misplaced frustration. But the real conversation is happening between Jake and Lady Rainicorn. She asks him why.
Jake, what's going on with you?
And for the first time, Jake drops the act. He admits what he's been afraid to say. He was jealous. He felt left out. He didn't know how to say it without sounding needy.
I guess I'm jealous of how much you and Finn like each other.
Because it's scary, watching two people you love form a world that doesn't include you, even if it's not on purpose, even if they still love you. Jake thought he was building a bridge, and instead, he built a spotlight and stood in its shadow. The translator, he throws it away. The voice was never the problem. It was the fear. Jake then turns to Finn.
Sorry I was an idiot.
Shut up, man. I don't want to hear that stuff.
Not everything is fixed. Not every emotion is neatly tied up. But there's laughter again. Connection. And Jake learned something a little painful, but incredibly freeing. You don't need to be in the middle of every bond to truly matter. The emotional heart of this episode isn't about battling lake knights or power rings or stuff like that. It's about something much more human, something quieter but deeper. What do you do when the people you love start loving each other without you? And how do you balance love and friendship? For Jake, the answer was to panic. He tried to merge his relationships into one smooth, comfortable whole. But here's the hard truth. You can't control how the people you love connect. Not every relationship will include you equally. And that doesn't mean you're being replaced. Jake's jealousy didn't come from Finn or Lady doing something wrong. It came from that fear that we all carry. That if we're not in the center, maybe we don't matter at all. And that's the most relatable part. Because whether it's friends bonding and hanging out without you, a new love interest getting close with your friends, or colleagues at work leaving you out of their inside jokes, it doesn't take much to feel like a third wheel in your own life. But what Jake didn't realize, and what so many of us don't, is this. The people who love you don't need you to prove your worth. They don't want you to compete for space. They want you to claim it, openly, vulnerably, without guilt. Jealousy is natural, but acting out, calling someone to make others jealous, that's not how you regain connection, that's how you damage it. So how could Jake have responded differently? Instead of hiding behind a scheme, he could have just said he was feeling left out. One sentence alone could have changed everything, because honesty builds bridges. Insecurity builds walls. He could have joined their adventures, not as an add-on, but as himself. Besides that, he could have trusted that his bond with Finn and Rainicorn was strong enough to stretch, even as theirs grew stronger too. Though Finn could have watched out for Jake a little more, including Jake more in the fun and making plans together instead of separately with Jake's girlfriend.
Let's never be stupid again.
Wait, let's always be stupid.
What does that mean for us, though? Well, if you've ever been in Jake's shoes, feeling invisible in a friendship you helped build, know this. You're allowed to speak up. You're allowed to feel jealous. But you're also allowed to trust that the people who love you still love you, even if they're laughing without you in that moment. Love doesn't need to be measured. It doesn't need to be equal at all times between this person and this person. It just needs to be honest. So if this episode left you feeling something, that little twist in your chest, that echo of a moment when you felt pushed aside, that's okay. Let it sit with you, not as a wound, but as a reminder. You don't have to be in the center of everything to belong. Because the people who matter, they'll always make room. And if this episode hit you in the chest, if you've ever felt the weight of unspoken expectations, you'll want to watch this next one. It's about Jake's brother, Jermaine, and the cost of carrying responsibility for far too long. Click here for the episode Where Responsibility Breaks You. You'll see why sometimes letting go is the bravest thing you can do.